3, 2, 1.
And welcome everybody to Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Difficult to podcast. We bring you all sorts of varieties of video game related materials, such as therein our opinions of said video games, and that's pretty much it. Actually, some facts as well. I decided, right?
Few.
You came to the Zelda show, people. Welcome. But as I said, this is difficult, as you can see. And my name is Lord Yeshua. I'm Josh, your co-host. We are on Paul Ryugami-san's channel. If we aren't live this whole time, I'm going to be so pissed. I feel like I'm kind of...
We're live.
Okay, okay, good. It just felt so rushed. And then we got Zach, another letdown in the corner here. Yes, we got Zach. We got everybody here tonight. Let's pass it on to Paul and tell us what we're doing tonight. We don't know.
Well, we're going to talk about video games. But fird of all, how was you guys' week? How'd everyone... Zach, so I know you spent a lot of time in the wilderness.
Yes, I did.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was wonderful. A little family vacation, friend family.
Family.
Yep, and it was my wife and me and two of my best friends from high school and their respective significant others and/or children, and there's no or there, and children. And we spent 4 days in the woods, and it was just awesome to be off the radar for a little while.
That does sound awesome. Hold on, I'm gonna.
That's awesome.
Of a cat.
Yeah, but I did play games. I did.
Dude, Billy doesn't care about the compressed air.
Jesus.
Go, Billy.
This is the show where Paul passive aggressively tortures his cat.
There's no torture going on here. He's walking across my keyboard. I hit him with some very harmless compressed air.
It sounds like a drill.
Like you're drilling him to death.
It does.
Which I approve. All
right.
Fine. Just a cat.
I should have muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go on. We're listening.
I'm sure it's under task.
So I did play games. I played Skyward Sword at the beginning of the week.
Boy, did we.
Up to the second boss, or temple, rather. So I'm very excited about that. This is my first playthrough of Skyward Sword, so I'm going in completely blind. I'm sorry, Paul. I'm not watching you, because if you get ahead of me or if I get ahead of you, I don't want to accidentally spoil.
I mean, there's no way I'm going to get ahead of you. I'm playing it twice a week on stream.
True, but I was away for the last 4 days.
I'm the furthest ahead right now. I haven't really been playing it. I'm at the 3rd dungeon right now, or I'm about to enter it.
Yeah. So anyway,
Colin's like halfway through.
Well, this of course comes as a surprise to absolutely no one.
He's devouring it.
Yeah. But I'm digging it. It's so much fun. I can't believe I missed this. I mean, I didn't have a Wii, so that.
Yeah, dude. This was an unsung game. I didn't have a Wii at the time. I was literally rocking in my car at the time that I actually had. I was rocking the CD that came. Dude, this was the best pre-order bundle among Zelda. Always knocked out of the park. You got free games. You got free shit. This time, $70. $70 after tax at GameStop. You got the fucking music soundtrack from the Symphony of the Goddess. Amazing. I only played that in my car. And you got the Wii Plus remote that was fucking Zelda.
Yeah.
$70 and you got the game too. All of that. Yeah. I was like, are you serious? This is like,
and
now that
changed.
Shit would cost like $180. Like
think about what they did for the accessories, right? So like the Amiibo retailed it for $25. But good luck finding it for less than $80 right now. But also,
that's literally, they're withholding. This is so fucking annoying. They're withholding a feature of the game. Like, they're just like letting you know there's a feature of the game that could easily be press the button and go into the sky. Like, but no, they're just gonna fucking make you pay money for it. That's annoying in a Zelda game.
That doesn't bother me, and this is why.
That doesn't bother you?
This is
still
why.
Really easy to get back.
It wasn't in the original game, and the game did add a whole lot of other quality of life improvements.
The autosave itself is really amazing.
The autosave is so good.
Autosave, so but you can't just go to the sky at any point. So it's like, I agree, it doesn't really hinder my performance, but it would be cool to just get that feature, but also not super needed.
Also, if you really want to, you can buy a bootleg Amiibo for like $3 and just use that.
You can buy the Amiibo
or
chips.
I was gonna say if you've got you can buy just NFC chips for dirt cheap. And you can use your phone to program an NFC chip. If you've got the data, which is easy to find, you can program that onto your NFC chip and just use that.
Yeah.
Apparently, Colin said you can buy like every amiibo for like $20 in chip form, like total.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like
I've got like a little wallet that
chips.
has all of the Zelda amiibos of all times.
Damn.
I mean, it's out of date now because there's been a couple that have come out since then. But like,
still works with Hyrule Warriors, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's great.
I mean,
I never bought an amiibo.
I love the amiibos.
I'm not buying into the hype.
I have a Link amiibo,
but I keep them. I keep them in the box because they're like cool little collectibles.
You got the Link's Awakening amiibo?
That is the Link's Awakening one.
So I played that. I played a bunch of that at the beginning of the week, and I thought that was going to be it for me for gaming this week. I was wrong. My 6-year-old niece brought her Switch with her.
Pokemon Snap, baby.
No, I wish. I wish. If I had known, I would have grabbed my Pokemon Snap cartridge and played. We would have played that. Unfortunately, all she cared about was playing Animal Crossing.
That's amazing.
I have a house in Animal Crossing now.
You should visit my island.
On her island. So she built it for me.
It's amazing. I put 400 hours into that game.
There's that. I played that briefly for like 5 minutes, and then she took it back, and I was like, okay, well, there you go.
Sorry.
Well, that's fun.
But no, so yeah. It was very funny. We had, it's a 5.5 hour car ride between here and Acadia.
That lets you grind out like 3 pieces of furniture.
Right, exactly. So I was like,
I got 2 pieces of furniture in the Gulliver set in 5 hours.
Yeah,
dude, that game I will say is like the best. It's like the best feel good game. Like it's really up there with Pokemon Snap. Like they both feel so good to play when you're in that. There's like a huge amount of flow state in Animal Crossing. I feel like. It's like really wild. Like I would literally just sit there for hours right at the beginning of COVID, perfectly timed. Biked over to Target to get the last copy. Literally just like 5-day weekend. I'm just like, yeah, you get into this flow state where you're just doing nothing with this game and it just feels so good. And then towards the end, when I hit the 300-hour mark, I was like, I am grinding to death.
Yeah,
this game is so much grinding and I can no longer enjoy it. Like it's
games like that, like even things like Terraria or Starbound, like things like that where you're doing, or like the Harvest Moon games, you're doing like resource management and things like that, like little, and you're constantly getting these little tiny dopamine hits.
What's worse though is that Animal Crossing is integrated with real life so insanely. Like literally, you can like give island tours and shit, and like literally, there's like an app that you can type into the game. So that I would use so you could like talk to people really fast, like when you're actually meeting them. There was like I went to like an art auction in the game once and like meet a bunch of people and shit. But like aside from that, there was like Nookazon, which is Amazon for Animal Crossing. Literally, someone made this shit. There was the Turnip Exchange, which you could do anything on. Like you literally, there's so much. This game was absolutely, and there's a Discord server as well that I used to get all the villagers I wanted very specifically. Dude, it's absolutely stupid how this game like took over my life and everyone's at the time. So I will just say that about Animal Crossing. It's like, be careful if you're going to play that game. Make sure you have time. If you don't have time to play it, you like won't even get into it. Like bottom line, this is made for people that like have no job.
Yeah.
I just didn't even run away with the mic there, but I decided to get my Animal Crossing blurb out.
Well, I mean, as we were playing, I was like, yeah, I mean, the last time I played Animal Crossing was Pocket Camp, and I played it with Adam.
Pocket Camp's not bad, actually. It's actually one of the better selling like mobiles.
Yeah, it was fun for a little while, and then I gave up because I didn't care anymore, and
that's the issue.
Didn't hurt my feelings at all.
Yeah.
And
I still revisit my island sometimes.
And power to you. Why not? Right?
Dude, that's the thing. Adam brought up in the chat, like right at the beginning of the pandemic, he got majorly into it. Like I feel like that was the trap a lot of people fell into. It was like the perfect game to land right at that time.
Oh yeah, dude. I literally would work, come home. Like my job was so slow. I would like actually still go into work so slow, just being a front desk guy or whatever, sales thing, barely. And most of my time was spent on the Discord server, on Nookazon, like planning my trades for the end of the day. Like literally hitting up people like, yo, I got that pinball machine. You got that fucking silver armchair. Like, this is my life.
That's wild.
And my town is godly. Like, dude, I crafted a beautiful fucking island, I must say. But anyway, I digress. Anyway.
Anything else, Zach?
A little proud of it.
Nope, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
He was in the woods.
It felt good.
That's good, man. That's good. It's nice to unplug every now and then.
Played real Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I did. We saw seals and ducks and eagles and crabs and just everything.
Seals?
Yeah, we saw a ton. We went on a nature cruise. So they took us to like this island that's basically just inhabited by seals, and there were probably 150 of them. Yeah,
that's incredible. I love me some seals. No penguins though. That's my favorite.
No, there's puffins nearby, but
I'll take it.
Oh my God, Paul!
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Now he's torturing penguins.
What? Torturing penguins? I was talking about like the Seal Appreciation Club that you're part of, right?
You are a horrible man.
You're not part of your friends that are part of the club that appreciate seals.
We'll never get banned for that. It's all theoretical. Paul did it.
Oh, good Lord. We at This Is Difficult Enterprises do not support the passive-aggressive tormenting of cats.
Dude, you're the one who keeps saying that word torment. You're the one who keeps throwing that into the world. There's no evidence or suggestion that I have ever tormented an animal.
Like a
you make me sound like a horrible person. Jesus.
Damn.
Josh, what'd you play, man?
Did you ever throw the penguin off the edge in Super Mario 64?
Yeah, everyone did that.
I did that this week.
You animal torturers! How dare you?
So me and Colin actually played that. That was funny, actually.
Disgusting.
And we literally dropped the penguin.
Lord.
Actually, I was holding the penguin. The co-op mode is not perfect right now because I don't know when the last time the mod guys touched it. But I landed in the ground and my penguin like literally disappeared. I was like, what? I just like, you know how you land in the snow?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're holding the penguin, gone. I was like, what the fuck?
Shame.
So he died. He actually got incinerated. So one step above dropping off a cliff. So
way worse than anything that I've done. Or
no, this got really dark really fast.
What? It's just Mario. All right. Anyway, played Mario 64 co-op. That was really fun. And then we actually streamed Banjo-Kazooie. Me and Colin. You got to see that, guys. We streamed.
That was fun. Yeah, on our birthday.
I just like that was. Oh yeah. I'm old now. 32. Oh God.
I'll be 35 in like 3 weeks. So
my coworker's like, "You're 32. You're catfishing," and I was like, "Fuck!" Just because she's like, "Yeah, that's a nice flattery. I look young. That's nice." But,
there you go.
But I feel old, so
Josh has just admitted to catfishing on.
No, she was like, "You catfishing." All right, fuck you guys.
All right.
And then what else did I play? I was
like
Skyward
Sword.
Oh yeah, I played Skyward Sword. That was pretty fun. But also was kind of like, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. The game, I have some flashbacks about this game that we're not gonna say anything until the review, I guess. But it's like mostly really enjoyable for me, and the quality of life enhancements are really amazing. But I have this will be the 4th time I've beaten this game now, and it's not like Ocarina of Time where it's like the faster Zeldas, even like Wind Waker and those are my favorites because you can consume them so rapidly, and like I could beat those games like in a row and not get bored with them. Skyward Sword is like a lot of trudging, in my opinion, and it's really worth it and really amazing, and the mechanics are awesome, and the controls are so enhanced. I can't even explain the really obnoxious part that I was saying. Paul,
I've still got some problems with the controls.
Some problems with it, but so in the defense of the controls, though, I also have problems. And this part that I was like, you're gonna get super frustrated at this part. I said last week, I got to that part in the 3rd area, and it's actually a lot better than it was on the Wii. So I was like really expecting that to be terrible, and it was not that bad. So Skyward Sword, really amazing. Banjo-Kazooie, played that. Some Mario Galaxy. I still haven't beaten Narita Boy or anything. Really want to sink my teeth into that.
You should. That game's really good.
That game's amazing.
I've got a couple that are sitting on the back burner right now.
I know the whole thing is back burner.
But
yeah. I
played some Star Fox 64.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that was amazing. Colin got me that mod for our mod loader, and it actually runs even smoother on the mod than it does on my N64. So,
dang.
So nice. Yeah, that game is so fucking perfect. Perfect 10.
It really is, and it's
a re-release of that.
One of the best games to just like play through, like in one sitting, because it's like the perfect length.
Yeah,
it's the perfect length.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know? Oh, it's great.
45 minutes, like 35 minutes.
And you can take different paths if you want to mix it up.
That's what I usually do. Well, unless I'm going for the high score, and then I will have a certain path. But
there's a specific path for that.
There's a specific path, but there's also like the fun paths where like, let me try the underwater level today.
Adam posted
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Always make that though.
Link in the Discord for a trailer for a game that's like a spiritual successor to the Star Fox, and it looks really good, honestly. I'm trying to scroll back and see it. It basically
so the thing
is
about Star Fox 64 is the controls. Like, they feel so fucking good. I can't explain it, but like even with an N64 controller, but now I'm using Xbox One controller.
X Zodiac is what it's called. So EX Zodiac. Look that up. I'll repost it because it's so far back. But if you go to the Video Games channel in the Discord, you can check that out.
Join our Discord. It's linked down below.
Absolutely.
Oh, is that where it is? Is it down below? I don't even see it.
Probably. Yeah.
This is my pants. What are you talking about?
But it looks cool. Anyway, we can move the conversation on. But like, I think that is like the closest thing we've gotten to like a real Star Fox game in a long time. It looks really good.
Dude. I will say that if someone can emulate those controls, it's kind of like how I feel about like Paper Mario having a certain formula and like Ocarina of Time having a certain formula, a feel, and then like Star Fox just feels so damn good. Like if someone else can replicate that, give them props. But none of the other successors have ever replicated that feel, and they've made way crazier over the top Star Fox games since then. And it's just like more impressive visually, but like I don't even care. Like,
nothing feels as good as Star Fox 64. That game is damn near perfect.
I think it's like a 9/9 or a 10. Yeah, absolutely.
We should, Josh. That might be a challenge for you.
Let's review some old games. I can review that right now.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna play it with the review.
Sometimes we do review old games.
I play every single level actually, and then
do it,
and then review it.
Record footage.
All right, I should stream that. Now that I have it on the mod, I can easily do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, do it.
One of the fun cheats we can get also. Ooh, it comes with like Game Shark installed, and like you could just like look up a cheat. It's so fucking sick. Yeah, no co-op on it yet. It's not co-opable, so that's kind of sad. But it's gonna be single playerable.
I bet you they could make it co-op.
They're saying there's something about it that like doesn't sync properly, but I think it is probably possible. A split screen.
It's only a matter of time on that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, they were able to do split screen multiplayer, like PvP. So
that's what it was.
I think you could probably mod it so that you could implement that same split screen, but run it. I don't know. I'm not a modder,
I usually
so I don't
love split screen, but like I think if it's necessary, I think it's fine. I don't see why you couldn't only see your own screen. I don't know why that's never been a thing. Like, well, I guess one TV, but if you're online, it would be a null point. You could just like make an online server for it. Then, Let me talk to the boys. We still have that one really exciting mod coming up, the N64 nostalgia mod. It's like at the end of the month, so we're really excited, and we could. I don't know if it's probably gonna be co-op. We should all play that. That'd be
the trailer
sick.
Looked cool. Yeah,
I'll almost set you guys up. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that, but probably. But yes, the trailer looked cool. Yeah. Is we done? We played video games. Okay. What's the thing? Review. Anyone? Me?
Yes, I have a review.
Exactly.
Are we ready? Does anybody have anything more to say, or can I do a review?
I played it all. We did it. No Mario Golf in 2 weeks, guys. Oh, sorry.
Who are you, and what have you done with Josh?
That game. That's the review.
I haven't mentioned what I played this week.
Oh, you did?
Or anything? No, it was. Okay. It's been a Josh steamroller for about 20 minutes. So,
and no one has stopped me, nor can they.
You know what? Why stop a good thing?
Admittedly, kind of difficult.
Yeah, it is. This is difficult. It's written right above your head. So anyway, so the games that I played this week, I played Pokemon Unite, which kind of dominated my week.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna download that right now. Thanks.
Like that game dominated my week. I didn't think I was gonna fall in love with the game the way I did. It is a MOBA. It's a pretty basic one, to be honest, but it features Pokemon, which is what was like the deal maker for me. Like I've played other MOBAs before, and nothing really like sucked me in, right? Because it like the gameplay loop is fun, but like there's only so much you can get out of doing the same thing over and over again. But the second they put Pokemon in there and you can use these different move sets, and like it feels almost like the way Pokemon should be played in a sense. Like it's very fun. So that really kind of sucked me into that world this week. I've been playing a lot of it, and it's obviously online multiplayer. Really you can hook up with your homies on there and pwn some noobs or whatever. And by pwn some noobs, I mean I'm getting beat up by 14-year-olds probably all the time. There are some drawbacks to it, right? Because it's a Tencent game, right? So Tencent is a Chinese company that is famous for making a lot of like
Just downloaded it.
kind of egregious mobile games when it comes to like pay to win and things like that. And that does kind of exist in this game. I haven't really run into it being a problem, especially if you're playing casual. I also think that if you play it enough, it's pretty easy to upgrade your characters enough. You know, like you're not going to necessarily have a problem with that either. Though, you know, depends on what level of play you want to get to, right? If you're playing this competitively, I can see the pay to win kind of thing being a real big problem. But overall, it's a very fun game, especially if you're just taking it from a casual perspective. So definitely worth checking out if you're a Pokemon fan, and it's free, you know, so free, being paid to win. I also played Skyward Sword.
And total impression so far.
I'm not very far, right? So I just beat the first temple, and
what'd you think about? Oh wait, Zach, did you beat the first temple yet?
I did, yes.
Okay, what'd you guys think of the Girahim fight?
I found it easier than it was on the Wii, but I still found it.
No problem. First tried it, nice.
Still found it very frustrating, like especially the first phase. The first phase where he's grabbing your sword is so frustrating.
See, I know the trick.
I do too.
So he actually is following your sword.
I know,
as long as he can see it, which is like crazy.
Which makes it like really difficult with the motion controls. But if you're using the button controls, he can't do that. So it's incredibly easy. Yeah.
Did you guys figure that out? You both did that?
We had a conversation about this last week. I want to say.
So the motion control or the normal controls are a thing now. Wait, so I should actually care and use them. Maybe
it's kind of OP because it was funny because Zach was talking about how insanely easy that boss was. He's like, this was a joke, and we're like, Zach, what are you talking about? That's like one of the hardest first bosses.
I had one heart left. I thought it was hard. I think it's still a tough boss, actually, personally.
I kicked its ass this time. And I would say, yes, it is still a tough boss. If you're using first boss, yes. If you're using motion controls. But if you're not using motion controls, he can't track your movements, right? So,
which is insane. I did not realize that. So that's cool as fuck.
Yeah. So I said, I believe my exact words were, well, first boss was a piece of piss.
Yeah.
And Colin goes, yeah, he's a jerk. I'm like, really? I thought he was really easy. Only got hit once in the entire fight.
Colin, what? You only got once?
I only got hit once. Half a heart loss. That's it.
What did Colin say?
Wow, dude, I'm a bit impressed. I'm like, maybe I just got lucky.
And then we all discovered that he was
eventually concled that it was because I was using. I'm playing in handheld mode because again, I'm playing. In bed after my wife has gone to sleep. And it's because he can't, he can't track your sword.
Wait, does everything move gyroscopically in handheld mode? Or are you still moving like?
No. So like if I'm holding the sword to my right, all I have to do to swipe then is a left-right swipe to hit him.
Wow.
You're basically feinting with the direction you're holding the sword, and then you swing it to slice him.
You can also not hold it any direction and flick it in a direction, and it'll swing your sword.
Dude, my favorite is most of these bad guys. Literally, if you come from down, like that's what they don't usually block on the bottom. You just slap them up and fling them. It's always fun. Yeah. That was really cool. I like that. Yeah, I'll continue that.
Yeah, so I also played I finished I did finish it. I finished Samurai Western, which is a spin-off of the Way of the Samurai games that takes place in like the Wild Wild West kind of thing, cowboys and shit. It's very fun, it's very arcadey, it's kind of silly. It's super fun. Honestly, it's a sleeper. Like I didn't even realize no one knew about this. Have you guys ever heard about this game?
Samurai Western? Yes.
I only know about it because I was a huge fan of the series and I bought it back in the day. I was a huge Samurai, like Way of the Samurai fan, and I got Samurai Western, but like going back to play it again, I was like looking for a copy online, even though I owned it before. I don't have that copy anymore. I don't know what happened to it, so couldn't find it. I went to try and find copies online, and they're like $500. Like they are not cheap. Whereas like I got, several other PlayStation 5 PlayStation 2 games that were much more popular games recently unopened in the package for dirt cheap. You know what I'm saying? And like this game that I feel like most people haven't even heard of, it's like $500 bucks. So it's definitely a sleeper. And it's very fun, man. So that was a lot of fun to finish. And then like literally today, this arrived, which is like the new Digimon X.
Good Lord.
Wow.
So I literally busted this out right before the podcast started and was messing with that. But these are compatible with the original Digimon, which I do have a few.
Oh, no way. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. But it has a whole bunch, like you can train 3 different monsters at a time on it. It's got like an adventure mode. It's got like a whole bunch of different. So
you still have to clean up their shit and stuff?
Yeah, it's still like a Tamagotchi.
Just making sure.
Yeah, it's dope.
So I'm placing all bets right now. How long before Paul kills his Digimon?
I mean, it'll
die of natural causes.
I was thinking about busting out some of my old ones and finding some batteries for them though, and like battling them. I thought that'd be cool. But
that'd be sick.
Yeah, it'd be way more fun with people. But speaking of modding communities, Josh, I was online and just on Twitter, and one of the people that kind of inspired me to actually pick one of these up, he discovered one of his followers pointed out that there's like a modding community online that found a way to make these playable online.
What the fuck?
With people.
How?
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. But there's like a UI and everything because it's rad. I don't know.
That
whatever.
Is kind of amazing.
Or reliving my childhood.
You can do that. You can do like fucking Game Boy, like Pokemon Link battles, like Red and Blue online.
You've been able to do that forever.
With a real Game Boy.
I know. Well, with a real Game Boy.
Yeah,
with a real Game Boy. Yeah. I'm sure. Probably someone could figure out a way to do it. I've done it through emulation a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh no, you can actually
just duct tape the Wi-Fi router to the Game Boy. I'm sure it'll work.
Well, now there's an amazing Pokemon website. Dude, I can't even remember what it's called.
Did you know that originally, like the prototype for Pokemon Gold was going to have a way to attach your Game Boy to a cell phone and communicate? I had an EGM magazine that had an article all about it. Yeah.
Tell Charizard not to stay up.
Yeah, the original Pokemon Gold was like going to be like cell phone compatible, like so that you could like trade Pokemon or battle Pokemon via cellular.
That is weird.
Yeah, they obviously didn't go through with that, but look it up. It was like the first time I ever saw it was like back in the day before the game even came out, because EGM reported on it, and they even had like a picture of the prototype and stuff. It's pretty cool, but I digress. Anyway, that's what I played this week.
Nice.
We do have a review this week, and Zach's gonna be doing that. So give me just 2 seconds, Zach. I'm gonna switch over to your review screen, and you can take it away.
All right,
we should be good to go.
Fantastic. So continuing my series of Batman Arkham reviews. Last time I reviewed, I talked about Arkham Origins. Paul probably needs to hit play on the video.
I did it.
And probably like scrub to the middle of it too, so it's actually shows the gameplay footage.
I did do that.
Okay, good. He's doing the thing. So yeah, today we're talking about the original Batman Arkham game, Batman Arkham Asylum, released from Rocksteady Studios,
the real
August
deal.
25th. 2009. I was still in college. As a matter of fact, the first time I played this game,
a lot older than I thought.
My roommate had just come back from a really frustrating exam that he was trying to proctor, and he collapsed on the couch and said, "I don't drink, but I need a drink," which generally meant, "Zach, go get yourself a rum and coke and play video games for my entertainment."
There you go.
Which I did, and
happy to oblige.
Yeah, exactly. I played so much Batman Arkham Asylum that weekend. I think I beat it in like just one weekend. And there's a couple of very minor jump scares in it that when you're intoxicated turn into much more significant jump scares.
Drunk scares.
Drunk scares, yeah. So revisiting that game that I definitely have some memories of, but not maybe all the memories of, was very fun. I absolutely adore this game. I played it on PC, got it on Steam. It's available on PC, Xbox 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, pretty much wherever.
I didn't hear any Nintendo consoles in there.
No.
Shit.
Although I want to say it came out on one of the Nintendo, maybe not. I could be wrong, but
who owns just the Switch?
Yeah, right.
Well, probably
that's a good point.
Well, actually, probably
is some people like kids.
I mean, well, my nieces.
Yeah, it's true. Honestly, I only had an N64 for so long.
Yeah,
and then a GameCube.
It retails for about $20 at this point, although you can often find that for sale or bundled with the other Arkham games. You can get it for cheaper. So hold out for that. It's a
bundle up.
Yeah. What did I like about the game? Absolutely everything. The map system is great. Absolutely everything except one little thing that I'll talk about.
Oh no.
The character design is so good. You've got the top tier voice acting. You've got Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill as the Joker.
The best.
Absolutely
the best.
I mean, it's
the
Batman
best to pick. Like
absolutely flawless.
This was my favorite Arkham too. I thought. Yeah.
It kicked it all off. The chapter system is really good. It's a very, very tight open world. Basically, each building is its own self-contained level, and you play through it sequentially. So it is linear, but like it's linear, definitely. But linear. You do have to, And there's Riddler challenges that take you all around Arkham Island. You really get a feel of the greater Gotham area, even though you're confined just to Arkham Island and the proper asylum. What I didn't like about the game was the final boss fight.
Oh no,
Josh! It's a bunch of QuickTime events.
I don't remember. Is that what it was? Yeah,
it's like
the final boss fight
with a really bad camera and a bunch of electric boys that shock the crap out of you, and then QuickTime events to take down the Joker.
I do remember it. I was like, which game was it again? Okay, it was the Joker fight.
And it doesn't even look or feel like the Joker. It's Joker all juiced up on his own version of Bane.
I will say, story wise, though, it does kind of hit though. The very end, it does hit. I don't know if we can spoil it. Is this a spoiler alert?
The game came out in 2009.
Yeah, we don't have to spoil
it. YouTube.com/another letdown CF. You can catch them all. And it's I'm actually most of the Arkham games are on that at this point. It's like the story beats really, really work. The gameplay beat for the story did not match.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that does make sense.
You have so much fun taking down the Penguin and Harley and even the Killer Croc fight. Paul, you were watching me do the Killer Croc fight.
That fight is awesome.
It's really painfully slow. And that's like my only complaint about that fight, but it really works. Like once you actually get into the weeds of fighting Killer Croc, it's like, oh yeah, no, this is probably how Batman fights Killer Croc.
I obviously haven't played the game, but watching that was tedious. Like
it is.
It looked, I don't know. I would not have been pleased with that fight personally. But I have never played it, so
it's frustrating because you're feathering the stick trying to make Batman just sneak along these floating boards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really frustrating, but it did give me an opportunity to interact better with the chat. Where oftentimes with the Arkham games, I'm just stopping to listen to narration or or I'm riffing on the narration or whatever I happen to be doing. I'm kind of ignoring the chat. And Adam points out in the chat that it's really tense. Like it's pretty rough to watch, and it takes a long time, but it feels correct. It feels correct for that situation.
Okay, there you go.
So Rocksteady did a really nice job with that, and the same with the other villains as well. They had
they're spot on.
That was the one game where Arlene Sorkin voices Harley Quinn. and she knocks it out of the park, as you would expect from her. She does a really, really nice job.
Is she the original Harley Quinn
she is
voice
the original
actress?
Harley, yeah.
Okay.
They got the whole crew.
The Scarecrow sections are really innovative, where you're sneaking around and trying to dodge his gaze. I had a hard time with those on stream, and I don't remember it being that difficult when I played it drunk. So that's
streamer brain is harder than drunk brain. Shit.
Brain, yeah,
it
makes it more difficult. But yeah, there's Arlene Sorkin did an amazing job as Harley. There is no comparable voice.
I agree. There is none.
Although,
yeah.
admittedly, Tara Strong does a very good job. Not the same, but very good in the later Arkham games, Knight and and we'll talk about her when we review those games. In terms of the gameplay overall, yeah, it's fun. It's simple, third person run around stuff. I'm a Gears player. That appeals to me. I like being able to see the backside of the cowl. You never get to see the backside of the cowl because when you're watching Batman on the screen, you want to see his face. Not when you're controlling him. You want to feel like Batman running around the city. There was a great moment which is clipped. I gotta publish it somewhere. Where I found a dude basically sitting on top of a statue and like stabbing it, and I just shot him with the bat claw and ripped him down onto the ground. And I felt like such a badass. And
Why was he stabbing the statue?
He was insane.
Okay.
He was just a nutcase.
So now you're beating up mentally ill people.
Well,
Paul's like, so who's the fucked up one now? All I did was drill a kid.
You really feel like Batman. You feel like you're exploring and investigating and doing your job. Absolute home run gameplay, except for that last boss fight. That just completely it looks like they just ran out of money and had to get it out the door.
That's how I feel about the BioShock boss fight, where it's just like a brawl and you're just like, this isn't even hard or fun. Like,
Josh, that is exactly the comparison I was about to make.
Yeah.
It is literally feels like the BioShock fight. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Why am I bothering? And it's just for that end cutscene. That's really
it's
the only
really just to see how it ends. Yeah.
What a huge misstep. Like,
it's
that's the worst place to misstep, in my opinion.
It's absolutely the worst. Like, you could choke on any other boss fight in a video game, and people aren't gonna, bat an eye unless it was like the only thing, or maybe it's an impossible boss fight early on. Right? That's a good way to fuck it up. But like, if you fuck up the last boss fight, like that's gonna leave a bad impression in everyone's.
That's the last thing I remember in the game. I'm putting on the controller like, okay, I earned this. Here we go. And you're just like, wait, like I just fought that shit like for this little cutscene. Like that was not worth it at all. Yeah.
So the art is awesome. It feels like just prior to New 52 Batman, like a Tony Daniel artwork. Or that era for and that's obviously a comic book reference.
I believe it.
It feels really good. Regrettably not the best writing in that era, but that's my bias against Grant Morrison, and I apologize. But
fuck you, Grant
Morrison. The artwork was pretty good. So and the artwork for the game matched up perfectly, and that's when it came out. So it completely tracks. The music is the original Danny Elfman score.
That's raw.
That's very good.
Yeah, it's really, really. In fact, I got DMCA struck for playing the game because it has the original score in it. I've had to since then. I've had to mute the game music, which sucks, and I hate it. And I just pipe in something from tabletop audio instead. But yeah, it got copyright flagged. And this is fortunately before all the big revamps of the DMCA strikes at Twitch. And when I was publishing the VODs, it got similarly muted on YouTube. I'm like, okay, I got to do something about this. So it sucks, and I miss that music a lot when I'm playing. But it's top notch. It's the best. It's the best of the best. Yeah. Sound design. When I throw a batarang, I hear that thwip. I hear exactly what I want to hear from from experiencing it in the comic books. When I fire the bat claw, you hear the hiss of compressed air that launches it. The sound design is brilliant. How long did it take me? Not long.
It's like a 12-hour game.
Yeah, it's like a 12, 15 hour game. Longer because I was streaming it. But yeah, it is the shortest of them because it's the first, and they're trying out all the technology. It's not difficult. It's I played on normal because, again, when I'm streaming, I like to play it as the designers intended, which if it's called normal, that's probably what they intended.
Yeah. I always just do whatever when you go to the difficulty level select and it's already on something,
Yep.
I assume that's what the developers wanted me to play on.
Exactly.
Exactly. So doesn't matter what it's called, if it's normal or easy or whatever, or hard or whatever it is. If that's the one that it defaults to when you just go to the difficulty level select thing,
yep,
that's what I go with.
Yep. And I didn't 100% it. I did when I played it the first time. I got all the Riddler trophies and all that stuff. I showed how the mechanics work on stream, but I was like, I'm not gonna do that here because it's just a bunch of running around, and that doesn't make for entertaining stream. Could I do it again? And might I off stream? Sure. It's fun and entertaining, but it is a grind. And trying to put those little pieces of Riddler puzzles together is a pain in the butt. But it's still Batman stuff, and it's stuff he has to do. So it does make sense to at least show that off. That part is difficult and kind of frustrating and a pain in the butt. Doesn't make it bad. Would I play a sequel? Already have. Twice. City is excellent. Night has been so far really good, although I do have
a prequel
about it. And a prequel. I played a prequel also. That was also very good because it was more of the same. I mean, I guess it's more of the same of City, but it's still pretty much the same Batman experience minus the better, higher quality voice acting. They did ratchet it down. It was a different publication studio, but it's basically the same game.
I hate that. That actually sucks to me.
Yeah, but it works in plot though because it is a prequel and he's not as grizzled, and Joker isn't quite as established. Like, I get it. I really, really did like Origins quite a lot. I did. Asylum, by today's standards, if that game came out today, I don't think it would eclipse much past an 8.3. But considering the time it did come out,
really high score.
8.3 is really good. Obviously, I would expect it to have better graphics, maybe, but as a story, as a experience, it's pretty darn good. It's like a 9.2, I think.
That's a really high score.
Yeah, it's a very high score.
I would agree with that.
It's far and away one of my favorite experiences in video gaming, bar none. And I will continue to play that as long as I am able.
I think it gets bonus points too for being a licensed title that doesn't suck. Those games are few and far between, and
definitely.
I feel like I always give Batman games that are good like a little extra love, just because it's the worst when something you love like Batman sucks, right?
I'm so glad they made these here.
At my desk space right now, I've got 3 Batman posters within eye line. I'm a giant bat dork. And
I played Batman the animated series on the Game Boy.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say that game's fucking amazing. It's like the second game I ever owned for myself.
No, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
But this, the memories that are attached to it, hanging out with my roommates and playing this game, hanging out with chat and playing this game, playing it on my own. I've played it 3 or 4 times. It's kind of like my equivalent of Josh's Banjo-Kazooie.
I almost played that 100 times.
It's my comfort game. I go back to it all the time. I love the voice acting. I love the story, despite the disappointing end battle. It just hits an absolute home run for me.
Sweet. Fuck yes. Yeah, that game is killer. I love that game.
It's wonderful.
A nice.
Does that wrap it up?
Perfect.
All right, we'll get back to the main deal. Sounds awesome. I still haven't played any of those. I need to check those out.
You have to.
I am really excited about the what is it? The one with the Bat family coming out.
Knights.
We're definitely playing that co-op.
We talk about that on my stream all the time. It's like when is that game coming out so that Paul and Adam and Chamali and Josh and all of us can play together and really have a great time as a Bat family, as the This Is Difficult Bat family.
Dibs on Red Hood, because I know you already called Nightwing.
I have Nightwing. Adam beat you by a second in chat, Paul.
You say Nightwing?
No, bullshit. I already no. First of all, Adam can go fuck himself. We already talked about this. We already talked about this in Discord, like
we did
months ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shamali's got Tim Drake.
Nice try,
someone's
Adam.
gonna get saddled with Damien, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, I think Adam said when we had this conversation in Discord that he'd rather be Barb than Damien.
Yeah.
No one wants to be Damien.
So does that mean Josh gets Damien?
I guess I have no idea who that is even.
It's
little
son.
Robin. It's Kid Robin.
That's so shit.
Yeah, it's
is he like Diddy Kong, or is he like just
he's
terrible?
kind of badass for like who he is. I mean, he's literally
he's a whiny baby.
He's a whiny little turd, but he's also kind of a badass for his age. I mean, he's Batman's son. Like, so
he's Batman's son with Talia al Ghul.
Yeah. So he's got badass DNA in him for sure.
But the writing is just so
he's just kind of a little
shit.
Yeah. I don't know why
he does have Bat Cow.
Sure. Yeah, he does. Yeah. I don't know. Anyone, this is kind of like totally an aside, but like, have you ever noticed that like kids, is particularly boys around that age, in just about everything, whether it's a cartoon or a, you know, movie or whatever it is, comic, they're always little fucking assholes. Like, why are they such jerks? Always. Am I wrong about this?
Kids are.
Kids are shitty. They're not. There's some cool kids. Like, and take this from, I don't even like kids. I coached them for 15 years. I'm done with kids for the rest of my life. Like, but not all of them are assholes. I will say that. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I find it hard to believe that every kid that age in a movie or a TV show should be an asshole, but they always are. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I off base with that?
I feel like that's like at least 75% of the time.
Yeah. Name a cool kid in a movie that's not an asshole. Like, that's in that age range.
I mean, Up.
Okay.
That's a steal, though.
Yeah.
A real movie, though?
Short Round. That's a good one.
That's a good one, actually, but also pretty dated. It's pretty racist.
The kid
also.
in The Sixth Sense is kind of an asshole too, man. Like, kind of
dude.
whiny. Oh, I see dead people. Oh. Okay.
All right, is this our topic? Let's get to the topic. I like it. Let's get.
Let's get to the topic. The topic this week is not about whether or not kids in like the 10 to 12 age range are assholes. It's actually about boss fights, boss design in games.
Bosses are my shit, man. I just start by saying bosses are so impactful to me. If they are bad, it can ruin the whole game for me. I care so much about how good bosses are.
Well, and if I was just gonna say, and if they're good, it can make an entire.
It can make this experience can be so impactful that it is a standout memory of the game. Where you're like, immediately, you're like, oh my god, the fights, the characters, because these bosses.
The final boss in Arkham.
The final boss, yes. Okay, now the final boss in Ocarina of Time. Oh shit, bro, Ganon and so Ganondorf.
Good. That's a great.
Plus the crumbling tower. Yeah. Just a great example of like amazing bosses. Every time I think of it, like a game like that. The bosses are actual characters, and they're like, I don't know, like an elemental or like some kind of force that's doing some destruction on the world, and like you're actually fighting this thing. But anyway, like, so what exactly about the topic? Are we just going to keep talking?
No, I'm following your logic here, Josh. Like, the reason that Mega Man Zero is my favorite Mega Man game is because, or my favorite Mega Man spinoff, is because the bosses have character. The first boss, the first game boss, is X.
Yeah.
You're fighting your best friend in a really weird and messed up way.
That's awesome.
There's a reason for that boss to exist where, like, by the 8th or 9th or 10th or 11th Mega Man game, and you're just beating up Dr. Wily again, it ceases to be interesting.
Yeah. I must agree. Like, Skyward Sword has a fatal error in some of the bosses, like not the first one. I don't want to spoil it because neither of you beat the second temple yet. Damn it.
I've beaten the second temple before.
It's a good boss, like fight wise, but it doesn't mean anything. And like to me, I'm like, oh, like I could have just like not even fought the boss, like, you know, and like just walked through. Like it almost, I don't know how to explain it without spoiling it for Zach. But like to me, like the boss really has to have some personality. But there are also bosses that doesn't matter at all, and it's just an amazing fight. Like Cuphead, for example. These are literally just random ass fucking characters.
Yeah.
And just like all about how intricate, intense, and like how much you can push to get to the end of this fight. And like at the end, you're
Mega
like,
Man
damn.
was the original Mega Man was that way.
Yeah.
Think of Cutman. Cutman was rad. And each individual villain, each individual robot master was interesting, and they were just random dudes that were blank man.
The one thing about, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Mega Man games. Like that's been one of my favorite series, like definitely in like my top 3 since I was a child. Right? Absolutely love those. But there are some very samey Mega Man games, right? And I think your point about Mega Man Zero is super valid, because like they made those characters super unique. They have like a lot of they kind of do that in the X games, right? Like there's a little bit of
led there, and then it took off.
But they take it so much further. Like these characters are so much more incorporated into the story, and they have like they're not even necessarily bad in some instances. They're kind of like anti-heroes.
El Piso in Zero 2 is like trying to do the right thing, but his definition of the right thing is categorically wrong.
Sure, exactly. And that's what makes those so unique. I personally think that's a like not necessarily it's I guess it's kind of falls into boss design, but to me it's more of like good writing, you know. Not to say that the boss fights aren't well designed. I think they are, but
they match up with the writing. And that's
I think that's super important, actually. Like that's almost like, to me, when I think of the best bosses like in games, they're not just pop-ups that just like come out of nowhere. They're like thoroughly written, maybe over the course of games, even like these thoroughly written characters that have intense, meticulous plans. And like when you fight them, as long as it's not lackluster like the Joker or whatever, like it's this epic thing just because it is this guy, this like super amazingly well-written character. And that's almost like half of it right there. You're just like, fuck, like all the Final Fantasy final bosses, holy shit. That Sephiroth fight, like holy shit, that shit is insane. Does anyone remember Kefka and all those fights? They like become
Final Fantasy 4,
demons,
holy shit.
Like the Final Fantasy is one of the biggest, like in them in Zelda, I think have like, and God of War, honestly, I gotta give it to them too.
God of War's got
having
great
these
fights.
bosses that are like so well written into the story, and then you feel it up close and you're like, holy fuck. This is this is Ganondorf, the Demon King. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. And that's like just so well. That just to me is like, if I didn't know who Ganondorf was, I wouldn't care as much. Like it's just like totally different.
So
like,
Adam brought up a game in the chat that I think is a really good. I was actually going to bring it up myself, but he mentioned in the chat before I was able to get to it. Mario Odyssey.
Dude, that is one of the best finales ever.
Well, so not even the finale though. I mean, the finale's great, but something that Mario Odyssey does is like create some of the most unique boss design, like boss fights I've ever played. Like, I forget which one it is. I think it's the one in the upside down pyramid thing where you're like boxing with it.
It's a hands boss though, is what I thought. I was like,
but it was so much more unique than a hands boss.
I agree.
Like it felt so much better.
On a hands boss. Yeah. But I will say, if without recurring bosses, that game would have had really all the way through amazing bosses. We had to fight the same fucking bunnies though, like 6 times.
Yeah,
and I was
the bunnies
that was only. Yeah,
I'm talking about like those, like the kind of like set piece bosses, right?
Those were much better.
Like those were all really good. The bunnies were, it was whatever. You just jump on their head 3 times, classic Mario, like whatever.
Classic Mario. But I think the game needs mini bosses too.
Even even those easy things, or which are just Pom Pom and
Boom Boom,
Pom Pom and Boom Boom, just in a different form. That's what reminds you that you're playing a Mario game.
That's true. I agree. That same like mini boss. You're like, is it going to be Bowser or going to be Bowser Jr.? Like that type of thing. Like that's such a Mario trope. Like in Mario Galaxy, you're like, which boss is it? Oh, it's Mario Jr. this time. Okay, I can handle that. And then when Bowser comes, you're like, shit, it's Bowser again. This is some real shit now. And like Mario has always been so grandiose. Like dude, the end of Odyssey, it's not just about a fight. Like, it's this whole you become Bowser, spoiler alert.
It's awesome.
Like,
it's so good.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You're literally clawing your way out of fucking orbit, like literally.
That's what I love about it.
It's
like
incredibly good.
It doesn't have the most. It definitely doesn't have the most unique. Or I'm sorry, it doesn't have the most difficult boss fights, but it definitely has a lot of the most unique boss fights I've ever played in terms of like the mechanics of what you're doing.
I will say, you say that until you fucking 100%ed it and gotten to the moon.
Not yet.
There's like a super secret moon, and you fight all the bosses again, and it's like horrifying because I think you have like one health or some crazy shit, and like it's like a whole nother planet. It's like the moon, and then there's like it's dark side of the moon. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that.
And it's like when I finally beat that, I was like, holy fuck, that's the hardest thing in a Mario game. Like, it's up there with like the perfect run and stuff. Really horrifying.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever encountered a boss that's like notoriously difficult? And
anything in Dark Souls.
I was gonna say, I was gonna bring up Dark Souls 3, like the first boss you fight, everyone's like, oh, you're gonna get dick down super hard. I think you're about to say is it's notoriously difficult, but you go in and you dick it down.
You just wreck it. So
I did that with Dark Souls 3, the first boss. Yeah. Like Colin's like, oh, it's gonna be awful, and I went in first fucking try.
Yeah. So
I never beat that on the first
General
try.
Rom in the original Gears of War, General Rom is insanely difficult by reputation. And in fact, I've played him a number of times at this point and always had a pretty rough time. I know how to do it at this point, so I've got it kind of down to a science. But Alex and I, at the end of our 9.5 hour, we're going to play all of Gears 1 in one sitting stream, which was a mistake because we were very burnt out at the end of that. We one-shotted Rom. We just rushed in, wrecked his day, and moved on to the credits. And I never know if that's a failure of hype, a failure of design, a dumb luck streak. I never know how to feel about that. It's happened to me a couple of times. And like those who watch my streams know that the show is called Zach Sucks at Games because I don't.
And now you don't suck all of a sudden.
That's true. I don't suck anywhere near as much as I did when I named the show, but it's I don't know. It just feels weird when I can wreck a boss's day. Adam brings up Mega Man X. Like, I know the first couple of those really, really, really well at this point because, that's about my attention span. I can play the first couple and then I'm just like, okay, I need to go do something else now. But at the end of the day, I do know most of the bosses in that game.
Yeah, that's like a pattern recognition thing, though. Like, that's totally different from going into like a notoriously hard boss blind and then, stomping him, And you're right. Like, sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's skill, sometimes it's like you approach a situation differently than most people do. Like, like sometimes if you just like, I wish I had an example, but most people, like, based on maybe how the game kind of teaches you to play, are going to approach a boss like in a certain manner, right? Because this is how they've been playing the game up into that point, right?
Yeah.
But if you go into like a boss and have like just a totally, kind of like no mindset, and you might see something different from what other people have seen, and maybe that's what you're experiencing in this situation.
That could be.
You didn't have like an expectation for like how to, go about it, or maybe you had too much of an expectation, right? Maybe it was so overhyped that it was so hard that you go into it preparing yourself for this difficult fight, and maybe you over prepared and you just crush them,
Well, and also by the end of 9.5 hours straight of playing the same game, mine and Alex's communication was absolutely firing on all cylinders. Sure. It was on point. And we knew exactly what needed to be done to take him down. So that could possibly contributed to it also.
Yeah.
When I played it solo, I'm only communicating with myself. So it's all head brain and getting muddled.
Absolutely. And co-op, like not only does co-op just help with a boss experience in general, but like if your communication is really good, like it's hard to make a really difficult co-op experience, right? Because like, especially if you've been playing hours with the same person, you've got those call outs down pat, like you're going to be able to overcome a lot of things that would normally be difficult, especially if it's a boss that's designed to also be beatable single player. You know?
Yeah. That's very true. Because or single player with a computer AI.
Right.
Like that's an AI. AIs are always, we always call them Lewis's because we always when we were playing Left 4 Dead, Lewis was always the guy who got left out. And Lewis was an idiot.
Yeah, never met him.
Well,
sounds like a dumbass.
He was a dumbass.
Yeah, sounds like sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering over here, like boss battles are just such an intricate part of gaming since like ever. Like it's literally like you test your skills, and then you get a big test all at once. It's like the shortest part of the level or whatever. Like even like Star Fox comes to mind. Like every level has a boss in it.
Yeah.
Like literally, like you test your skills in a certain setting, and then a boss comes up, usually thematically placed into the level, and like it tests your skills in a certain way. It's just so interesting that it just like pushes you like this. And I'm just like thinking like that shit goes way far back. Like every game has a boss or a challenge at the end now. Every single game has a you build your
Yeah, not every game. Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Well, it arguably has like okay,
watch Josh
the boss for the turnip market.
A final boss.
No, I guess it doesn't really have a boss fight. Yeah,
I get what you're saying though.
Simulators don't.
Yeah, sure. Most games do though, and you're right. Like it kind of sets the tone, and it also it tests your skills.
It gives you a thing. Think about like Mario without any bosses. Like it sounds kind of good. Okay, so think about like
I would play that. That's Mario. Whatever the one you were playing last year. That's PvP.
PvP.
What was the PvP Mario thing that you were playing all last year?
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah, Mario 35. Yeah.
You're obviously playing against each other though, but
yeah. Your friends are the bosses. Your bosses are the friends you made along the way.
Think of a Zelda game without any bosses, and you're just like playing through, and like there's nothing to like mark points. It's like a boss not only is like a thematic, intense moment that you can prove yourself and like hopefully feel something amazingly cinematic and tied to the game as well, depending on the game. But it's also like a marking point. You're like, I'm at the end of the dungeon. Like, okay, I'm now at the end of this section of levels. Like in Donkey Kong, for example, like you beat 5 levels, there's a boss. You're like, now I'm at the end of the levels. Like, okay, on to the next sequence, and like it kind of goes thematically. So bosses are almost so good for so many different things in a game that it's like no reason not to use
imagine if someone made a Zelda game and they only put 5 bosses in it, and then the final boss was such a piece of shit, and the 4 ones preceding it are basically all the same boss. What if they did that?
What if they did this? What if they didn't put any dungeons in the game either?
Yeah, what if they did that?
What if they didn't give you the hook shot? What if they didn't give you any magic?
Stop, come back.
What if your swords broke when you used them? Guess what, guys? Welcome to This Is Difficult.
So funny. One other comparison I wanted to make before we end it. That's not Zelda related.
No?
I recently have, and I've played Souls games, a lot over the years. I played the original Demon Souls. I played, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. I've played them all. And I played the Neo games over the last, year or two, and I really loved those games. But after doing so, I've gone back and on the PS5, you've got the Demon Souls remake.
Yeah,
right. And it kind of like, if you compare those two games, like Neo versus Demon Souls, you could kind of draw like an illustration of really good bosses versus great bosses. Okay. The bosses in the Neo games are really good. There's nothing wrong with them. Some of them are a little cheap, but overall they're fairly, overcomeable, and they've got certain patterns and so on and so forth that kind of follow that design philosophy that the Souls games always have. But when you take a look at like Demon Souls, on the other hand, those bosses feel so much more unique and so much more epic. With the exception of a few. I mean, there certainly are a couple great bosses in the Neo games. But just about everyone that I've gone through in Demon Souls, the remake, have been fantastic. And they're not like, of course they're hard, but all of them have like, you know, a unique way to defeat them, right? Just like kind of like what Adam brought up with the Mega Man bosses. Like they're all hard until you know how to do it. Right. And part of like the fun of the game is learning how to do that, right? It doesn't just give it to you. It doesn't just hand it to you. But once you know, and you're going to be able to go back and smack that boss down, you know, when the time comes. And I think that like if comparing those two games, even though I personally like overall probably like the Neo games better than any of the Souls games, I will say that the boss design in particularly the original Demon Souls, well, you know, I'm playing the remake, but that's the original Souls title, right? Like, I think the boss design in that game is, you know, unparalleled. Like, it's superb,
really intense.
You know?
I will say for like some of the Souls, like Dark Souls 3, okay, the bosses are really amazing, but they don't like feel like anything. They don't feel like anyone. And like after you kill them, they literally just like fade away on the ground, and there's no like cutscene of them like exploding like in Zelda and shit. You're just like, okay, what? That was just some crazy guy. Now he's dead, and now I just keep going. Next crazy guy. And I'm like, it feels a little shallow at times, but
yeah, and there is really deep lore, but you have to like really, really dig in to find that. And I think that's a critical problem with the Souls games. I do think that the original Demon Souls does a better job of making those bosses and making the story, making the world and the lore feel more accessible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but
I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, that pretty much rounds it up for me. Do you guys have any other comments you want to make on boss design or?
Bosses are great.
Is there any bosses really fucking horrible bosses that you can recall that just ruined a game for you, or you know, maybe other than, I mean, it obviously didn't ruin that.
Oh yeah, actually, dude. So aside from BioShock 1, this really sucks. This is redeemed by the ending, but BioShock Infinite, I think, has like one of the worst final bosses. It's basically like a giant shit show. This giant blimp, spoiler alert. And you have to use like all of your shit to like kill these people endlessly. And it's like it's a timer. And you just have to hold them off and do this great, like destroy the ship until like the timer runs out, basically. And like you do enough damage, right? And it doesn't like feel like a fight because there's no 1v1 or anything personal. And it's just like I die so much in it. And then you get to the ending and you're like, okay, ending's incredible. But like that kind of fucking, I've like stopped at that ending or that boss fight so many times and been like, why the fuck does this suck so much? And just like,
BioShock, like
they're not great at like,
I get to the end fight and I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care anymore.
Really, the ending is absolutely redeems that fight. I will say.
That's how I felt like 5 minutes into that game.
Well, okay.
That's the opposite.
Push past that first 5 minutes and it actually gets pretty interesting.
I know. I just couldn't. I was never able to get into those games.
BioShocks are period piece games. I feel like they came out at a time where they were new and felt really different, and you play them and you're like, holy shit, this experience. And now looking back on those experiences, like they're only cool if you have that memory still. Like someone else playing it for the first time. They might not hold up as well. Like Infinite, when you first walk into that world, you're like, oh, this is so amazing. I really fuck. And now you're just like, okay, you know, I get it's good, but like, you know, it's
I'm gonna call back a bit we used
Disneyland
to do.
attractions.
I'm gonna call back a bit we used to do on my other podcast with Jason Hex. Anybody want to buy a copy of BioShock, the board game?
What is it?
I don't get it.
I have a BioShock Infinite, the board game, and
I'm okay.
It's sealed and packaged.
I do love the stories of BioShock and stuff, but I will say the fights and like their ability to personalize characters is like not nearly as good as Zelda and shit like that. Zelda is the kingpin. I'm really trying to think of a bad boss fight. Like, there are bosses that are too easy.
There's some bosses that aren't great. In Ocarina of Time, I really, really, really hate the not the Spirit Temple. What's the one with the bongo guy?
You don't like Bongo? That's like one of my favorite bosses.
I fucking hate that boss. I absolutely hate that boss.
This is an opinion.
It is an opinion, yeah.
Oh, we're beating it dead.
The one in Jabba Jabba's belly sucks. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I honestly love all of those, probably because I'm just so used to them. But I will say the fire boss kind of. But anyway, we love boss fights. They make a game. They break a game. They are super crucial to the
really like highlight, like they they give you the risk and reward like at the end of your level, like that.
It's the endorphin hit.
Really, a really important part of a video game.
It's the gamble. It's like
absolutely.
It's too easy. Being too easy is a super downfall of a boss. I will say that's what Zelda has been kind of getting to in these recent years. Like the fact that all of those bosses were super terrible. I'm just like, yeah, this is like they're all the same fucking boss. That was so sad to me. And
a game I played recently that was Rift Apart, right? Ratchet and Clank. None of the bosses really stand out to me. And that's not necessarily because they were bad, they just weren't difficult. But I will say the final boss absolutely does, not because it was difficult, because it wasn't. It honestly might have been one of the easier bosses, but it is an incredible like experience. Like the experience is, it kind of does what like a
God of War.
Yeah, kind of a God of War, or like even what you said, Zach, earlier about like the Batman final boss being a quick time thing without being quick time, right? So instead of it like it accomplishes the super cinematic thing that a quick time event does, but you're in active control of everything throughout the entire experience, which is what made it so cool, right? Because I wasn't just having to like wait to press a button to see the next little cutscene. It was like I was part of the cutscene and it was happening actively, but you know, was still super cinematic, and that's what made that boss stand out. You know,
that's awesome.
Really well done. But yeah, that's it. We're over time. Any final things you guys want to throw in?
We did it.
Cool, we did
There's a
do
lot
it.
of boss fights out there that do a lot of things.
We could probably talk about
Let's
this
talk
for
about
a long
this
time.
I love
in
boss
the
fights.
Discord. Join our Discord so we can keep talking about it.
Absolutely.
At length, whether you want us to or not.
Absolutely. If you guys are watching this live right now, you are on my Twitch channel, and I play video games on this Twitch channel on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I am currently playing through Skyward Sword. Very excited about it. On Saturdays, we always play a samurai game because it's Samurai Saturday. I actually didn't have anything planned for next Saturday because I just didn't have a game lined up. I just finished one, but RPD was kind enough to gift me, what's the name of that game? Mark of the Ninja Remastered. So not technically samurai, but I think it still fits. And so I'm excited about that. We'll probably check that out starting next Saturday. And then obviously we're here on the podcast on Sunday nights, starting at 8 o'clock Central Time or around there. Most Ninja War Samurai, actually all Ninja War Samurai. That's not a discussion for right now, but if you guys want to get more into that, come hit me up on Samurai Saturday. We'll talk about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and everything, but what really helps us out is to share. So please share that and get the word out. And that's it for me. Josh, where can we find you, my guy?
On Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV on all my bing bongs, and I stream sometimes. Apparently, I did it.
You did do it. I was proud of you.
Star Fox,
I did do it.
This is your conscience speaking to you. Stream Star Fox.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I did it on my birthday last year. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, you did Star Fox?
Yeah, I did. I actually did like a whole Nintendo 64 stream that day and played a whole bunch of different games. But I actually the only game that I played all the way through that day was Star Fox.
I could do both sides of Venom. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, try hit for every level and then go for a high score. 3 in a row.
That would be so sick. I would tune in for that for sure.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
All right. You can find me on twitch.tv/another letdown and youtube.com/another letdown CF. I'm live Thursdays for what?
Did you change it? What was it? DNC?
I just added my YouTube in. YouTube. So YouTube, Another Letdown was already taken on YouTube, so I added CF. Coalition Films. So I'm live Thursday for Batman Arkham Knight and Saturday for miniatures painting this week. Maybe some other stuff during the week. I'm not sure. Things that are not scheduled. Twitter.com/DENONCZD.
That's the words I can remember.
Excellent. Well, guys, thanks once again for joining us. Everyone have a great evening. Enjoy the rest. Well, I guess the weekend's over, but enjoy your Monday. All right.
What a
have a good
horrible
night.
way to end this.
Bye.
Bye.